Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of appreciation to Abraham Mohammed, Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Billy Highvolt, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As the Earth, Chow Young Cat, Dank, Dave Rakia Gafford, David Wayne Foster, Edwin Johnson, Erwin Jennisons, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin, Henrik86, Jeranism, Joshua Balsimo, Kirsten Smith, Liam Nedrick, Life is Short, Matt, Missouri Bear, Nagara, Naibai, Qatar Craig, Renee, Sally Ballis, Silver Umbrella, Skeptic936, Texas Mike, The Flat Earth Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock App, TheFlatEarthChannel.com, Tina Baker, The Real Gabster, Tom Hawkins, and last but by no means least, Wind Rider. So a massive shout out of appreciation to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. As I say, there is a link in the info box if you want to join as a Nathan Oakley channel member also. So we are joined currently by a fair few people in both Discord and G+ panels, so I'll raise the mic on them and you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for the next live show.
This has been here for a while.
Okay. And it is created by Nathan? Or something?
Say again?
And it is created by Nathan Oakley.
No, this isn't
Oakley.
Nathan servers. It's the beautiful Betty Van Velsen server.
Oh, what?
But
Sorry,
Nathan does his show on here.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't
You're
know.
breaking up quite a lot.
You're breaking up. I'd say you are. No,
I didn't know.
The reason
I didn't
What the
know
fuck's
what you
going
said,
on?
but okay.
I don't know what's going
Are we in a parallel universe here?
Yo.
Yeah, we
Just
are.
time
We got the
dilated.
knuckleheads back.
We time dilated.
Yeah.
watch what you're saying, Chocolate.
Oh no.
No, they pun intended. The reason they got mad at Anthony was because he assaulted gravity.
Yeah, that's it. It's like that dog picture, the dog video at the start of that video shows the dog's being petted by its owner, and the owner is gravity, and the baby dog gets physically removed by mummy dog because mummy dog wants to be petted by its owner, gravity. Well, Bob seems to want to be petted by gravity because he wants to feel a comfort blanket around him, and we're like, what fucking comfort blanket? There isn't one.
Well, we see helium balloon rise. We all see that at birthday parties, etc. What's he say to that?
I don't know. He said he's going to address it in his next video. Oh, really? Let's see that then. Show a helium balloon rise in a vacuum, Bob.
Well, at least one good thing came out of it.
What's that?
Somebody got released from triple secret probation.
Oh yeah. Who's that?
Yeah, apparently I'm a agent on the list. So I've been removed off the
Chocolate.
list.
Triple
apparently.
secret probation for chocolate. Really?
You've been removed off what list?
Yeah. I don't know. John's got like 5 lists.
I tell you what's going to be interesting. There's going to be a conflict, isn't there, with Taboo Conspiracy? Because Ben's like he goes to where the evidence is because he's very empirical, right? When the topic of gravity comes up, Ben's going to have to be very quiet because he's not going to be able to say what because the reality is there is no evidence of a downwards acceleration force, right? So Ben's going to have to stand. He's either going to have to do what
That's my thing, man. I don't have any personal beef with dude. I don't even know him like that. And obviously I respect the work that he's put in. But why are you pushing pseudoscience, man? That's
he's
that's
not,
my
is he? He does what Jeremy does.
Who's pushing pseudoscience? Ben's not pushing pseudoscience.
Not Ben.
No. No. Ben and Jaren both plead the fifth when gravity comes up. They both sit there in silence in the background because neither of them want to address it, right? Because they don't want to go against Bob because Bob's the big kahuna on that show. Well, we can say openly that we don't agree with Bob, but they can't. They've got to be quiet. So what would you do if you're a Globebuster now? You get invited to be a Globebuster.
It's not a case of agree or disagree. This has nothing to do with agree or disagree. This isn't a social construct. It either is or isn't. It's either demonstrated or not. No agree and disagree. We're not talking about our favorite colors here. Okay?
Well, that's what Anthony's saying.
Yeah, but
he says they agree or disagree. I don't care.
Yeah, but hang on. You're missing my point, John. It's a social construct, the Globebusters team, isn't it? In the same way that Nathan's is a social construct. I don't always agree with what Nathan says. Sometimes I don't agree with what you say. Sometimes I just don't know. But the point is I can say, hey, guys.
It depends on the topic, right? If I'm talking about my favorite running back or my favorite ice cream or my favorite color, yeah. But the other topics that we discuss here are not agree, disagree genre.
Yes,
well, hang on. What about the ether? Because there was a bit of a friction with ether. I mean, the way I see the ether is it's the medium that allows things to propagate through. If you don't have an ether.
Oh, really? All right, we can start it right now. Go ahead, give me a citation. Give here in live stream. Let's go for it.
What did you ask for? Give me what?
Citation for ether being required for stuff to traverse through.
And as I said, the high altitude balloons with the beeping device in the background stops beeping beyond a certain elevation, right? Why is that?
Oh, hold on. Don't ask me. I can't believe I'm having to do this. Anthony, hold on. Let's just slow things down. Who's making all that noise in the Hangout? Please stop. Is that you, Anthony?
Is it fuck? Who's doing that noise? It'll be Paul.
Chocolate. I can see his little lights.
Chocolate, you little weasel.
You pocket unmuted
He's back
yourself.
on probation.
Yeah.
Right, let's slow this back down. He's asking for a citation regarding ether, not a question regarding beeping.
No, my answer to that is for sound to travel through a medium, there must be a medium, right? Otherwise, why does the beeping stop?
Yeah, it's called air.
What the hell does this have to do with ether?
What do we mean when we say ether?
What do you mean? It's your argument.
Yeah.
A medium that allows things to propagate through.
Where at?
As Tesla stated.
Hold on, he's just done a Brenda on us. He's just took us in a circle. Yeah, we got to that point last time. Now we want a citation, or I don't care personally. John's asked you for a citation,
and I've given a citation. So what's wrong with the citation I've given?
No, you didn't. Don't claim you've given us. What have you given us? You haven't given us anything.
Does anybody disagree that the beeping cameras on high altitude balloons stop beeping beyond a certain elevation?
Let's get off the high altitude balloons and give me a citation with a reference.
I can control this. Look, Brenda, we've heard that twice. That's not a citation.
So you want me to go and find? So are you disagreeing that balloons stop beeping?
Totally.
Are you deliberately doing this so that someone can cut this out for a laugh?
I vehemently disagree that they stop beeping.
Oh, right. Yeah. Did you hear his answer? He fundamentally disagrees that balloons stop beeping.
I don't get this. Why am I being laughed at?
You just asked him.
I'm not laughing.
You just asked him if
Anthony,
he
I'm
disagrees.
laughing at what you're saying.
You asked him if he disagrees that balloons stop beeping. That was your question.
Yeah. So does anybody disagree that the balloon thing stops beeping once it goes beyond a certain height? Yes or no? Does anybody disagree with that?
Nope. Yeah. Look at the video. I sent it again. The video. Look.
Where have you sent it?
Remember the toe tag video?
Where have you sent the link?
Yeah, hold on. We're not going to toe tag it.
Hey, Nathan, take over a minute. I got to go for a couple minutes. I'll be right back.
There is Armador. Is that how you say your name?
Armad. See, I can't say it now. Look at that.
Armada.
Can't say it. Armada. Yeah.
Armada. Can you tell us where you're going to post this video?
I posted it in live stream, but You remember the toe tag video? It's the same one or whatever, but it's, the beeping that he's talking about is also in it as well, though.
Sure, but I just want to show it on screen for context for anyone watching that hasn't.
Yeah, so it's the Jeranism video, raw and uncut, 115,000 foot balloon launch, and in that video it starts beeping initially, and then at some point it stops beeping. So the question that John's asking me to cite is evidence to support that there is an ether, and my evidence to support that there is an ether is the fact that the balloon stops beeping after a certain point.
But what can cause that?
That's what I'm asking. I'm saying it's the medium that allows sound to travel through it.
Right, so your
Maybe the
citation
battery
is
died.
your citation is a question to us. Why does it stop beeping? That's not really a very good citation for proving ether now. Are you trying to prove ether, Anthony?
I'm saying that the beeping stops for some reason, right? And if John says it's because there's no air, then that would be, to me, that would mean acknowledging that there must be an ether.
No, Anthony,
that's more of a correlation, though, right?
Obviously. But the propagation, so sound propagates through, sound waves propagate through air, and light waves propagate through a medium that they presume to be called ether. So
yeah, but the fact is there is something there that allows it to happen,
We've had this, hold on, we've had it 5 times. Now, Anon summarised it too. Yeah, that's the point that we're saying, okay, citation needed, as opposed to a question about what a balloon does when it goes up.
But why are you not accepting that the balloon going up is the citation?
Because that's not proving ether. You having me on?
So what do you define as the ether?
I don't.
Right, so as far as I see it, an ether is the medium which allows things to propagate through. It's a medium.
And you're saying when it gets up high, the sound doesn't propagate anymore. Therefore, ether.
Yeah.
This makes absolutely no sense.
Well, it does when the elevation reduces and the balloon starts coming back down again and the sound starts beeping.
Into the thicker air that allows those waves to propagate because there's enough particulate matter for the waves to propagate through, moving those molecules. That doesn't mean there's A, no air where it couldn't make that happen, and B, that there's ether. It doesn't prove either of those things.
I don't see how you... that's non sequitur. How do you come to that conclusion?
Because you're saying
I don't
that when
get,
you have a
I don't
medium...
get how the...
When you have a medium that things can propagate through, and then you're describing something not propagating through, that's the first problem.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how does the beeping,
because
the beep
sound waves are
stopping?
different than light
Hold
waves.
on. How does the beep stopping prove that there's a medium to allow it to propagate?
Because when the balloon drops its elevation and it comes back low again.
Yeah.
When
How does that prove?
But if what you're saying is true, shouldn't it have just not stopped beeping?
1 second. Whoever said, hold on. Whoever said I've run out of battery, go ahead. Whoever that was.
That was me.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I'm saying it's without more investigation into what other causes that might make it stop making that noise. Maybe it ran out of batteries. I just threw it out there. But
No,
because
because at the end of the video it starts beeping again, and it starts falling down. When it starts falling down through the atmosphere, it starts beeping.
Okay, so then why did it stop beeping?
Right. So
because it moved out of it moved out of the medium to propagate sound through. Yeah. Why is that a problem?
So does
There's a
batteries
direct
work?
correlation between elevation and that beeping. All right, there's like, come on, you could just look at that. Come on. You could, I mean,
Maybe
like you look at
Yeah.
it, depending on the elevation of that video, it either beeps loud or it doesn't. Like when you're up really high, it doesn't beep at all. But when you start going down, it starts beeping louder. Like, come on,
Okay,
you gotta be delusional.
No worries.
So
no
what
worries.
does
Hold
that
on.
prove?
Hold on.
Well-
The guy who's just speaking. I forgot how to say it. Armada. What does that prove, and how does it prove it?
Well, it doesn't prove without like it's not definitive proof, but we could say that like what's the word I'm looking for?
It's not definitive proof of what?
It's not like 100% proof because we don't have every single.
Thank you,
Of
Chocolate.
what?
But I mean,
Hang on.
come on, like you.
Hang on. Let me try again, sir.
Let me
Just try again. Let me just try again.
finish. My
Just listen
gosh,
to the
I
question.
forgot to
I'll ask
finish.
one at a time. What does it prove? And
It
how
proves
does it prove
that you need a medium for the sound waves to propagate through. Otherwise, there's no propagation of sound.
I knew that anyway.
then-
I used to work with sound. I know that.
So why are you disagreeing that there must be an ether then?
But wow, The fact that sound moves air and creates waves that eventually reach my eardrums is absolutely sod all to do with ether.
Define ether.
I'm not Why are you asking me to define it?
I'll do it.
Okay, hold on. Everyone, hold on. Go ahead, Anon.
Okay, Mr. Tesla said light cannot be anything else by a longitudinal disturbance in the ether involving alternate compression and rarefaction. In other words, light cannot be anything but sound waves in the ether.
I agree.
And where's the experiment? Where's the experiment?
Hold on.
Here's an
I
experiment.
just had a declaration from Tesla that included a presupposition of ether. So what? So he's declared ether? That doesn't prove ether.
No, but hang on. Why do you not accept that the sound stopping is proof that the medium's been removed?
What, the air?
Are you missing something?
The air. There's less air to create the waves.
The medium. Yes, there's less air. Let's call it medium.
Yeah, air. So there's less air.
So you're saying it's remove that medium, but there should be another medium that's there that should allow the sound to continue, but it doesn't.
Thank you.
Let me just explain to Anthony. You
Because
can suck
one is sound wave,
you can put a bell.
One is waves through air.
Just let
the
me
other
explain
one's
to Anthony.
waves through ether.
Ugh. You can put a bell.
Shut up, Anon.
You can put a bell in a vacuum chamber, suck out the air, and hear the same effect. So what? Because you're reducing the particulate matter for the wave to distribute through, that proves ether? No. It proves that the sound waves are propagating through the air that you're removing, and as you remove it, they can't propagate. It doesn't prove anything to do with ether.
But if you accept the definition of ether to be the medium in which things can propagate through, then it proves a medium.
I don't! What, so if I accept the fundy presupposition inserted apparently by Tesla? No, I don't accept that.
So then you have to ask the question, well, what do you accept as the definition of ether for you to reject?
I don't have to reject or accept anything that's completely unproven, invalid, beyond somebody stating that it's a fact. I can just reject it out of hand.
Let's have just a thought experiment. You have a light bulb, and light bulbs nowadays they have gas in them, but the old school light bulbs were vacuum bulbs. They would suck out the air, and when you turn on the light and the switch, you'd still have light propagating through. So light clearly propagates. I'm not talking about interstellar vacuum, but it propagates through a vacuum. So it's the medium. You didn't suck it out. And if it's particle, it's just going through the glass.
What the fuck?
But don't we know that
though? Particle goes through a glass.
This is
and pops out
light,
the other
not
side.
sound. Sound doesn't work like that.
Sound is light.
But if what you were saying were true,
hold on. Say that again,
chamber
Anthony.
was created, it would go dark.
Sorry, sound is light. No, sound is definitely not light.
Yeah,
Doesn't anyone understand what Chocolate's argument was?
No,
if
because they're two different mediums.
Well, hang on. Chocolate said, if there's an ether, then why don't we hear the sound still?
Because sound doesn't propagate through ether. Sound propagates. Your ears are designed for.
So then, how does the sound disappearing prove ether?
Thank you.
What are you guys talking about?
It's not. It's analogous. It's just a way of understanding what it is. It's just not saying, okay, so sound is waves through
It's
air.
the what?
Light
So you just made it
is
up.
Waves through ether.
So it's just made up. So you've just made it up as a way of understanding something. So that makes it real.
Hang on, but the equal
What
and
a
opposing
train
argument
wreck
is that you've just Hang on, stop. The equal and opposing argument is that you've just handwave dismissed it. So where do we draw the line between a handwave dismissal and making something up?
You've not
No, we call
proven
it
it.
frigging air.
You're not proving it. I can hand wave
call-
it because there's
oh
been.
my god.
Go on. Sorry.
I'm eating. Go ahead. I'm gonna go.
It's gonna eventually be like.
I can
when
hand
you
wave
have
it.
your-
Right. If I say unicorns are real and then give you a statement about how they're real, where I presuppose they're real and then declare they're real at the end of it, and you go, oh, I'm just going to hand wave that off. You've not proven unicorns by just presupposing them and inserting a statement that uses them in the presupposition. And I go, that's just a hand wave. Well, I haven't proven anything. I've just presupposed it, made a statement about it, and used that as my evidence that it exists now. That's what you're doing with ether, and suddenly me saying, well, you've not proven it anyway, so I'm just going to completely disregard it. Oh, well, that's a hand wave. Yeah, and totally acceptable to be hand-waved, has it having not been proven in any way.
But then I could then...
The unicorn is kind of like saying light is both particle and a wave. Duality, which doesn't exist. You can't
So
have...
basically what you're saying is this proves ether, but it doesn't, the sound itself doesn't move through the ether.
No, sound has nothing to do with ether.
What is ether?
Ether is the medium where light propagates through, an electromagnetic propagates through. That's it.
So then
So
this
photons are
beeping
neither
that
electric
disappears
nor
doesn't
magnetic.
prove anything then.
Yeah,
About ether.
and photons are neither electric nor magnetic.
The beeping demonstrates that when you suck out the medium, then you're not going to have beeping. Kind of the same way.
The
What are you
medium
talking
that's
about?
not there would be the air, though, right?
So this is all working on the assumption that light works the same way as sound, and it doesn't.
Through ether, which...
They're both waves.
No, they're not.
They need something to propagate.
No,
You can't
that's
have
not...
a wave without a
No,
medium.
they're not. Light is not
Yes,
a
they are.
wave. It's not travelling as a wave through a medium. That's not what's happening.
Yes, it is.
Sound, on the other hand, is something physically moving, and moving air that then moves the air next to it, that moves the air next to it till it reaches your ears. That you can call a wave, if you like. A sound wave. That's not what light's doing. It's not travelling as a wave through a medium, like sound does.
Yeah. Light's not a medium, you clown.
I'm nearly there. If
Light
you
is not
remove
a
the
medium.
medium for this wave,
is a
that the sound...
disturbance in the
Why am I
medium.
getting interrupted? Jesus wept. Just because sound physically requires a medium for the wave to perpetuate its way through that medium, and then when you remove that medium for sound, it can't work anymore, doesn't mean that when you remove the same medium, light won't work. Because light isn't propagating as a wave. There's no need for this ether. It's not necessary.
Yes, it is.
Why?
It doesn't make any sense to have a particle and a wave.
It's not a wave.
Is only a wave. It's not
But
a
it's not a
photon,
wave.
It's not a particle. It's just a wave, as you can demonstrate
It's not.
on the kitchen table
He's
by
just not
lighting
listening to me.
lasers through a
He's not listening.
slits.
It's not.
You won't
he's
let
not,
me
he's
finish.
just ignoring me. It's not a wave. At no point is it a wave.
Can I ask a bigger question? Just hang on. Let me ask a bigger question. Does it make any difference whether it does or does not exist?
You tell me.
What?
I'm asking. I don't know the answer. I'm asking. Does it make any difference if it does or does not exist?
Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah, it does. You're claiming
I
it.
haven't. I'm just asking the question. Does it make? Is it contentious? Why does it matter if it exists or not?
You have. You claimed the existence of the ether. Did I just step off in Bizarro World?
Because you'll throw a monkey wrench in his quantum world. That's why. Eventually,
Probably.
you guys will figure it out.
Shut
Just
the
like how
fuck
you,
up and on. You little crayon
when he said
muncher.
Arwen knew this the whole time, and we were yelling at him. Remember that? You'll eventually figure it out. Year, 2 years,
Arwen
5
didn't
years.
know dick, and neither do you.
I heard it yesterday. You guys were like, "Yeah, Arwen knew this," and we were just looking. I'm going, "Durr." That's what we were doing.
Who gives
And
a
now we
shit?
know He was right. all
Prove your
along. You'll
ether.
eventually figure it out.
So can somebody
Define
answer
your
my question?
ether. What the fuck is ether?
Does it matter if it exists or not?
If you're claiming it,
Oh, God.
if you're claiming it, then you're claiming it, and you need to prove it's real. It's just that simple.
But let's just say it goes either way, right? And it doesn't matter which way. Does it matter? Is it a contentious point whether it exists or not? What is the effect?
Who cares? I'm not
we don't know
claiming
yet.
it.
Question about gravity, though, right? Does gravity matter until somebody asserts that gravity exists? Does it matter? Do we need it in reality until somebody asserts that it is our reality? Does it matter?
Good question.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that.
Anthony, is there a place in your argument where ether doesn't exist?
Well, for me, I've just naturally
Because
assumed
to me,
that
I
it did
would
exist.
say, look, I have no problem with people speculating on whatever it is. That's great. But it's when somebody tells me, "Oh, the ether has to exist because this has happened." Okay, so what is it? It's medium. It does this, that, and the third.
It's a medium that light travels
That doesn't help me out in reality.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion right here, right now, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Sleeping Warrior, Righteous Force, Ranty Flat Earth, Paul Hall, Chocolate Saying, Brian's Logic, Arwin, and a non-moto. So very good to have you all. I think we've got 10th man, I just can't see me slightly off screen. But hello one and all in the Discord, in the G Plus server.
Hello.
Hey, hey, hey.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
It's got a fair few people
Ether
in
or
Discord.
I'm here.
Hello everyone in Discord as well. Good to have you all.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, wherever you may be. Any signs of Earth curvature? Let's rattle our way through housekeeping. Earth
Not
curve.
from Morro Bay.
Anybody in Discord? Any signs of Earth curvature?
Done what's
Fine. Moving on. Any signs of axial rotation? Oh, Ranty's here. Of the Earth-based variety.
Nah. Nobody's moving.
No, let's go. No to all the questions, because I got two arguments coming up.
Well, I'll get through them. Any evidence?
No to all the
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No.
No.
Any scientific?
Parker satellites claimed as a thing, but we haven't got any data to support it. It's just a claim.
Hopefully, we'll get the mathematics and proofs.
So no.
I mean, like ether.
We'll get to ether. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No, definitely none. Just beliefs. Just beliefs.
helium balloon.
Like ether.
Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of my God, this is going to be like pulling teeth, isn't it? Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No.
Nope.
No.
Any evidence of Earth radius, the R value?
Nope. For that, see question 1.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Only in pictures.
Last but by no means least, any evidence, for all the fundamentalist religious zealots who believe in a sky vacuum, possibly the ether if you're a fundamentalist flat earther, that you can have gas pressure without a container?
Stop being a contrarian, Nathan. Be neutral.
No.
What vacuum?
Like photons.
No, you can't have gas pressure without a container. It's in the definition.
From my neutral standpoint, I know there's been absolutely zero evidence for ether presented. Is that neutral enough for you?
What's ether?
I don't know. Maybe you could tell me, given that you're claiming it.
Hold on. I got my two arguments. 1 second. Can I give my two arguments real quick?
Let's stop asking and just do it.
Go for it, man.
Okay. Number 1, I need to know how the lack of balloon beeps at altitude means ether. Number 1. And number 2, ether. I need to know this. Why ether exists because Arwin was right about something 2 years ago. I want to hear that argument from you, Anon. You freaking
Those are not
clown.
arguments proving ether. I'm just saying you figure it out just like how you figured
That
out
was your argument.
That was not my argument. That was just letting you know that you'll figure it out eventually, and you have to change the
That
screen name
ether
from quantum
exists
race
because
to-
Arwin was right about something 2 years ago. We got it taped. You freaking bozo.
There's no tape. Okay,
Okay.
first of all, there's no tape.
Yeah, it's
All right, that's been
taped.
smashed.
It's
Moving on.
recorded.
Moving on. That's been smashed. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the lack of balloon beeps at altitude means ether. Please either demonstrate it's a logical train wreck.
Straw man.
Why are you saying straw man? Right. First,
It's
that's
a
it.
straw man.
Why is it a straw
That
man?
is not, because
give him a
that
fair
is
crack.
not the proof for ether. That was just analogy. That was just an analogy.
It's not an analogy.
Right. Let me ask one question. Let me ask one question to just John. Nobody else answer. Just John. Is the ether a contentious topic? Why is the ether a contentious topic? What does it matter?
You already asked this. You already asked this.
I know.
It's not a contentious
and I've not had an
topic.
answer.
Let me answer. It's not a contentious topic. We just need somebody to make a claim. If they make a claim, no matter who it is, to provide evidence for that claim. Now,
but
you're saying this.
That's not answering my question.
I'm assuming. Holy shit! Are you done?
Not really. Answer the question. Is it a
I'm
contentious
answering a
issue or
fucking
not?
question.
No swearing, please. We're live.
Yes, it is a contentious issue.
Shut up. Let him answer. For God's sake.
My God, I already did answer. If you have a claim, you came in here claiming ether. All we're asking for is evidence of it. Is it a substance? Is it a concept? Number one, define it. What is it? And then demonstrate it. Give a substance of what it is. Thanks.
Right, you haven't answered my question. No, stop. He hasn't answered my question. My question is the existence or the lack of existence of the ether, why is it a contentious issue?
Why is it a contentious issue? That's your question to me?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know, because Arwen's favorite color is chartreuse. Good.
It's only contentious.
Can we move on now?
No. I can answer.
Not really.
I'll answer.
It's not.
It's contentious if you can't prove it, having claimed it.
Like photons.
But it's not. It's not as if someone's saying that gravity is a force and that's the explanation for things falling, right? Whether it exists or doesn't exist, I don't even see why it's an issue. But everybody said it's just erupted like a volcano, right? But why? What does it matter? Is there an important point that follows whether it exists or doesn't exist?
That's what we're waiting for. We have people claiming this thing exists. All we want is evidence for it. Why is that so outrageous to ask for?
But if it's not an issue whether it exists or not, why do we even need evidence for it? And why is there an argument over it?
Oh my God.
Because you don't want to go about believing in things that aren't real just because it's not contentious in your mind. If I say unicorns are real, and then someone comes along and says, is it even contentious whether or not we've got invisible unicorns? And everyone goes, nah, let's just accept it.
That's a really good analogy. Nobody falls out with people for saying that unicorns don't really exist. Let's see evidence that they exist, because we know that they're not real, right? But it's not contentious if they are real, because everybody generally says unicorns are not real. Does it really matter?
Look how many people fall out when you tell them gravity is not a force.
Yeah, but that's
the same shit. When I'm walking around my everyday life, bro, I don't need gravity, okay? Until somebody asserts that it's real, gravity itself does not matter to me.
I agree.
Until somebody asserts that it's real. Now you have to tell me what it is and show me what it's about.
Okay, let me
Can
try
we
to
prove
explain
that
this.
it exists?
1 minute.
So that's just my response to you when you say, does it matter? Oh, not really. Until somebody says, yeah, this has to be ether. Okay, what is that?
I just want to say one thing on this. 1 second. I haven't said anything about it. If people wondered why things fell to the floor, and then they were told gravity, and then everyone said gravity. Everything falls to the floor because of gravity. Now we know that's a load of rubbish because we actually found out it's a load of rubbish, right? With ether, light is going through a vacuum. So people say, "Oh, it has to be ether." It's the same thing as saying things fall to the floor because there has to be gravity. You can't
exactly
accept one and not accept the other.
But the thing, hang on.
Either it is or it's not. You know?
The counter to that is that there is nothing. I don't see anything following on from whether the ether exists or not. But with gravity, it gives you the heliocentric model because orbits and planets and all that shite. But
that's just it. Things were falling down before somebody gave it a name.
Right. But what does it matter whether
how it worked? Less dense things went up, right? That's just how it works until somebody came along, gave it a name, gave it a theory as to why it's happening.
Anthony,
right?
do you believe?
And then with that came a story. Sorry, Go ahead.
Hold on, 10th man.
Anthony.
Hold on, just before you go. Okay. You said that unicorns aren't contentious, right, Anthony?
Yeah.
So if I now say that the supposition that light is requiring a medium to traverse is negated because the unicorns that were uncontentious are actually carrying the light to us through that medium. Now, given that unicorns are completely uncontentious and I'm claiming they're carrying light particles through this medium, is that contentious to you?
Point taken. I hear your point and I agree. That would make the unicorns contentious. But my question still stands. Why is it contentious whether the ether exists or not when there's not a logical progression from whether it exists or not? So what? If it exists, it exists. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Does it mean anything?
What the world, man? Do we need to explain that to you again?
Please, you haven't explained it. You haven't answered me, John.
Yeah, we're stopping pretender clowns from conjuring baseless assertions and claiming shit's real when it's not. You get it?
Anthony, can I get your? Okay,
yeah,
let me try to answer your last statement. Does ether bolster a closed system or an open system?
That's my question. I do not think it bolsters either. Maybe it does. I don't know.
Okay, so in the closed system, the sun, moon, and stars are inside of the closed system. In an open system, it's a vacuum of space. You tell me.
So it's only contentious because it allows the expansion of space to exist if the ether exists.
No, because it's not accepted by the mainstream media or mainstream science. They don't accept it. Ether is the big bad word that you can't say. You know, it's just like saying
mainstream science doesn't exist, and no vacuums exist either. So you're just out in fairy tale land.
But I was just gonna say that though, if there's no vacuum, there's no necessity for ether, is there?
Well,
yeah,
not only that.
You can create your own vacuum inside by sucking the air out of the box and put a
No, you can't.
Hello, hold on, just 1 second. So what Anon's done is segued us away from empirical science and onto the consensus opinion of scientists.
No, I haven't.
Really? So
this is when doesn't quantum eraser quote bunch of scientists like what is it?
Oh God! Why do you do this? Why do you use these baller techniques?
Because he's a fucking retard.
Yeah. Why are you using a baller technique? Asking what and saying what quantum eraser's saying? No. You've gone on to the consensus opinion of scientists. We're segued away from scientific empiricism and onto opinion of men.
Hold on. Doesn't all the videos that Quantum Eraser puts about
here we go again? Same exact routine.
Isn't he?
Yeah, he's an idiot, man.
Scientist, quantum mechanics.
No.
Isn't he?
Sorry, who cares what he's doing?
No, it's not the same, you dumbass.
Consensus for this
because you have a double standard.
Hold on, QE. I can only get rumpus by one person at a time. You've appealed to consensus of scientists as opposed to empiricism offered by science. That's what you've done.
Just like Quantum Eraser.
Don't now move on to what Quantum Eraser's done in some meaningless example that you're paralleling this with. Just accept that that's what you've done. What scientists accept is irrelevant. Mainstream science, you said. Yeah, and QE's response was, there's no such animal. It's either empirically valid through scientific method-based experimentation, or it isn't. Who cares what they think?
Yeah, except in his videos, he's always quoting Wheeler, which is the same thing, quoting a bunch of mainstream scientists. So how is that not a double standard?
What the hell is he talking about?
I don't know.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You were talking
maybe
about...
he's pointing at people that actually did
I
experimentation.
don't get it. I point out he's appealing to consensus.
Just like Kevin, huh?
He's talked about what mainstream science does and doesn't believe. He talks about a specific quote that's not been specified by an individual, not an appeal to consensus, in no way paralleling what I'm asking him. Just pay attention and on.
Okay, let me explain to you why ether exists.
Go ahead.
First of all, if light behaves as waves. Why? Because
No, it
if
doesn't.
you shine two
Wrong.
lights
No,
into
it doesn't.
Hold on.
It doesn't behave
See, they
as
won't let me
waves.
finish.
No, it does not.
They cannot let me finish this point.
Well, because it doesn't do that.
Yes, it does. You could do it with a $4 laser from Amazon and 2 slits in a black.
Here we go again.
Okay, let me try.
Shining the
QE,
light.
let me try. Let me see if I can reason with him. So you get a diffraction pattern when you put a laser through a double slit, according to you, correct?
Yes, and
okay,
that
no
is-
worries.
and that-
Non, I just
waves
need you to...
behave-
Non, please don't make this take 20 minutes. So you get a diffraction pattern, yeah? What about if you've got a slit detector? Do you still get this?
I don't have a slit detector.
Shut
What
up!
the hell is a slit detector?
What the hell is your problem? I'm trying to talk
You're talking
to
about
you
slit
and you're
detectors. What the
interrupting.
hell's a slit detector?
Anon, try and be reasonable. At some point, you can force that wave function to collapse. At that point, it is... What's your problem? At that point, it is no longer even capable of being described mathematically as a wave. Upon collapse, the wave function has collapsed. No longer mathematically being described as wave-like in any way. So, upon collapse, where are you getting wave from?
It never was a wave in the first place.
No, that's right, Arwin. I don't need help. Arwin.
I waited so long. Okay, I did not do anything mathematical. I did not pull out a calculator. I didn't do anything. All I did is shine a light through 2 holes. On my wall, I have a pattern that is represented when you have wave going through 2 different holes. Be it water, be it whatever. So that pattern.
No, that's not what you see.
Function.
No, you're just making
It's
this
a
shit up.
pattern I
You're
see on my
just making this
kitchen
shit
wall.
up. You're making it up.
No, it's not.
No, you
How
are
am I
making this
shit
up.
And
You
first
didn't
of all-
see
and
waves
number
like
2,
through a
there is no
pool.
such thing as slit
Anon,
detectors.
you're really
Show
starting
me
to
where I can
annoy
buy a
me.
slit detector.
You've just made that up.
Jesus.
Jesus, Anon, you're just making shit up. No, you didn't observe any wave like in a pool when you shined the light through a slit.
Oh my-
That did not happen. You have not observed that. That's just you making stuff up.
Okay, I'll tell you
Mine
what.
is not a wave, buddy. It
On
really
Monday,
isn't.
I will show it to you on my kitchen wall. How about that? You like that?
Yeah,
Show
it's
what?
still not a wave. It's not a wave you're looking at.
Arwin, you're making
It's a
life
wave
even
pattern.
harder.
It's a diffraction pattern on my wall.
Yeah, he's now engaging Arwin. What a shock. So what are you going to show me? You're going to show me a diffraction pattern on the wall.
Correct.
So you're not going to show me anything that's remotely described as being wave-like, just a diffraction pattern, otherwise known as wave function on the wall. That's what you're going to show me.
I'm not going to show you wave function on the wall. I'm going to show you a diffraction pattern on the
Yeah,
wall.
that's a wave function. That's a probability distribution when described mathematically. That's what it is. Anon, I'm done. Anon, shut up. You don't have the slightest clue what you're babbling about.
Hey, dude.
There's no wave between you and that light pattern on the wall that's described as a wave function when you put it in mathematical terms. You're not witnessing stuff going through a pool. You've just got a diffraction pattern on a wall. That's it. And that diffraction pattern is described as a wave function mathematically. Now, because boneheads decide... Shut up! Because boneheads like you decide that makes it a wave, even though I can say, well, what about when it's not capable of being described as a wave function? You've just got 2 bars on the wall because you've stuck a slit detector in. Well, at that point, there's no way...
It's not 2 bars.
I'm still talking. The dumbest person here that doesn't know what the hell he's on about is interrupting me continually. Yeah, there's no wave between you and that pattern on the wall. It's just a pattern on the wall described mathematically as a function of wave, otherwise known as probability distribution. But upon collapse, you've got nothing at all that's going to be described as a wave function. Nothing. Nada. So at that point, you don't have anything to qualify it as being wave-like. But you're still going to do it.
You can deny the pattern on my wall all you want, but I have
Which
a
one?
pattern that's...
Which one?
Whoa.
Which
You're not
pattern?
denying anything.
Which pattern? The wave function, otherwise known as diffraction, the pattern that you're describing there, or the two bars that cannot be quantified mathematically as a probability distribution anymore. No longer a wave function. At that point, you're going to tell me that it is still a wave.
The pattern on my wall can only be caused by waves and not particles.
Wrong.
You're just not listening.
Wrong by diffraction.
The diffraction pattern is being described mathematically. He's too dumb. I give up. I give up because Arwen's now helping me yet again. I don't need help, Arwen. I just need to talk to him without him then engaging you over the top of me. No.
I get it.
The point that
subject, so
I give up.
stay out of it.
I give up.
I'll stay out of it. Don't worry.
Yeah, wave function.
Can I ask a question?
The process is even described.
None of that nonsense. There's no slit detectors.
Jesus wept.
It's just two holes and a light.
Yeah, we know what it is. Yeah, we don't need you to repeat it ad nausea. We need you to acknowledge that there's a process that's being described. That process is called wave function collapse. Now
you can keep repeating it slowly, but it doesn't make sense. It means nothing.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. No. Not it doesn't make sense.
Nothing.
No, not it doesn't make sense. You don't understand it.
Just like ether. You don't understand ether.
You haven't proven ether. Wave function collapse is absolutely demonstratable and has been done so thousands, if not tens of thousands of times.
What, using slit detectors? Show me the slit detector. And
you're an idiot. You don't have the clue what you're babbling about.
I don't believe in slit detectors.
Wave function collapse is not being shown with a slit detection. No, that's showing which slit the light traversed through. So you don't understand anything you're talking about, and then giving me this, wave functions being detected by the slit detector. No, you just don't understand any of this that we're discussing at all, and are throwing out nonsensical techno-babble that sounds a bit like the stuff we're discussing and do understand. You, on the other hand, haven't got the vaguest clue what you're babbling about.
Nathan, may I interrupt a second, please? I have some relevant input.
Go ahead, Arwen. Sorry to.
In order for Anon to, in his mind, at least try to disprove this wave, okay? So if he really thinks that light is a wave, and I'm not going with that personally, if he really thinks it's a wave, like as a ripple in the water, as the pattern kind of points at that it could be like that. It's just an apparent correlation, okay? If he really thinks light is a literal wave, well, why don't you do the double slit thing and do the light spready, and then get a background to exactly account for the shape of the presumed waves of light, and then see if it actually is a wave, if it actually is a ripple, or that it just turns out to be seeming like a ripple. Why don't you actually prove the wave instead of just mistakenly interpreting this wave function? It's so ludicrous at this point.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know how you can put a wave on the wall. What you can do is you can show...
Well, it's being projected, right? So you're assuming it is a wave. It is the light itself is a wave being projected on there. Well, that means that's going to have a wave-like effect. It's going to have distances and... Yeah,
exactly. Wave-like effect, meaning diffraction pattern.
So why don't you show the actual wave transpiring by changing the distance to the double slit, and then, showing that it actually is a wave, instead of just a pattern that you can interpret as if it had been a wave, but isn't.
When you have a diffraction pattern where two things cancel out and then the other two, create a peak, so you have highs and lows, and you have basically a line where one line is high and the other line is low.
I know the wave pattern.
That's a pattern that's caused by two waves intersecting each other. It's just the way it is.
You're not listening. You're not
a couple of ripple.
If it is really a wave,
but Anon,
show it by changing the depth right? If it is literally a wave and not just a pattern that kind of reminds you of a wave pattern, if it really is literally a wave, as you're trying to forward constantly, well, show it. Change the depth of the distance towards the double slit and show that it actually is a wave.
But how is it a wave if you send the particles in one by one and you still get the diffraction pattern? How is it a wave?
I've never sent a particle in. I've never was able to shoot a single.
I didn't say.
Are you able to shoot a single photon? When was the last time you shot
I didn't
a
say
single
you,
photon?
and I didn't say me,
okay.
but the experiment has been done, right?
The Cavendish experiment has been done also, yeah?
That's not an experiment.
Exactly my point. That is not an experiment.
Really?
Nobody. I didn't say Cavendish. You did.
That's normally your
but it's the
segue
same
into.
thing. It's even worse than Cavendish because at least with Cavendish, I can go get some balls. With this, I can't go get a photon gun nor a photon detector. None of that shit. It's all.
Listen to this fucking clown talk about the same nonsense over and over again.
He's just going to keep babbling though. Argon pump laser.
Yeah.
Did you look it up? Argon pump laser. You said I haven't got a single photon gun. Yeah, yeah.
Let me
I
go
heard
back on
what you
topic.
said.
Can I bring it back on topic a sec? If, regardless of whether the ether does or does not exist, if we accept that sound waves need a medium to propagate through, and then when you go beyond a certain height, them sound waves stop propagating, so there's no medium for them to propagate through anymore, we can agree with that bit. The fact that you can see light above that, doesn't that indicate that there must be something there for the light to propagate through if the sound waves can't propagate through the medium below?
Whoa! You just jump from sound to light.
Yeah.
But you can't assume
You
that
just
there is
jump
light
from
up
sound to light. It's such a false equivalence fallacy. It's a train wreck. One sound propagates through a medium, right? Correct? It moves the air, moves the medium, right? Light isn't a medium.
Light is a disturbance in the medium.
Oh God.
Yeah. Here we go. Okay, what's the medium?
Ether.
The ether.
No, but
You can laugh all you want.
What's ether?
Guys, listen, it doesn't help if we're all shouting at each other because I'm genuinely on the fence with this. I don't know either way, and I don't really see why it's that important. But
okay, what's ether?
Because it breaks
Not a
quantum
problem.
mechanics.
What's ether?
Shit's all over it.
No one's answering you, QE.
Not a problem.
Everyone shut up. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Ask your
What's
question again.
ether?
Who?
Anybody.
Is ether a substance?
Medium.
I believe it's a medium.
Does
That light travels.
to be a substance, to be physical, you have to have chemical formula or structure, charge, mass, momentum, or spin, or if it's energy, milli-electron volts, kcals, or kilojoules. Does ether have any of those?
yeah,
I don't know.
the concept of ether, and it is a concept, is presumed to be energy mostly. Energy out of reach, but can.
Okay, what's
We don't want
what's
concept.
the
We want
milli-electron
claims.
volts or kcals or kilojoules for a liter of ether?
I
Don't
don't
bring
think there is any
concept into it.
volumetric value that can be ascribed to ether.
There you go.
Well, then why are you defending it?
He's not.
Because it is still a concept worthwhile exploring as long
So
as you
it's a
don't
concept.
falsely claim some kind of scientific evidence for it, like Ananas. It's ridiculous.
This isn't
haven't
scientific evidence. Let's take it. Let's take it out of the realm of science. It's not scientific evidence. We're not looking for cause and effect here. We're looking for a what or an is.
Does speed of light change through
Right?
different mediums? Yes or no?
We're looking for a what or an is. So what is ether?
Does speed of light
Hold
differ?
on.
Oh my God! Answer
why are we
the
saying-
question.
wait, hold on,
What
Jimmy.
is
Hold on.
ether? I've been
Hello?
asking
Hello?
it for about an hour and a half.
Hello. Right. I don't need a
the
new
medium.
question. It's been asked 6 times. I've cleared the airwaves for it. There's a long pause, a question from Anthony about the importance, and then a new question from Anon about the speed of light. No. What is ether?
The medium in which light travels.
Light travels through. There you go.
Yeah, I agree with that.
How can you agree with that?
Doesn't make sense.
Okay,
Because if sound needs
light travels through air. Is air ether?
The medium of matter.
Light travels through air, right?
I know John said it was a non sequitur point, but I accept that if sound needs a medium to traverse through, why would
light is not a wave?
Unbelievable.
Nobody's letting you do it. Oh, hold on.
No, they're not letting me do it. I'm just asking a simple
to a
question.
logical conclusion, and you just won't let him. You've got your own questions that you want to answer. Try again, QE. Let's see how far we can get.
Does light travel through the air?
Yes.
Yes.
Is air ether?
No.
No.
Air is a medium, isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
is
air
air
is
ether?
matter. It
Try
can
and
be
keep it
classified
slick.
as matter.
Hello, can we keep this concise? No.
Air's not a medium.
Is air ether?
The prosecution rests.
Is air ether? No, it's not.
It's not.
But light travels through the
It
medium
travels through the air.
of air.
You said
Hang on.
you said that light needs ether for travel, right? That's what you said. I said, well, light travels through air. You said yes. I said, is light ether? You said no. The prosecution rests. You're a numpty.
You can put a flashlight in a little tiny vacuum chamber and light still goes. You still see the light.
There are no vacuum chambers in nature.
You can make one. There's no
Yeah,
slit
it doesn't
detectors
matter.
in
There's
nature
still
either.
going to be some
There's no
gas
slit
there. Adnan.
detectors
You
in
know
nature.
You don't need a slit detector. All you need to know is the witch path information. You're a numpty.
There's no argon guns in nature.
John, let me ask John.
You're a numpty.
John, if I said that the ether does exist, what difference does it make if I think it does or if I think it doesn't exist?
Here we go back again to this question, right?
They call
Unbelievable.
it quantum foam.
Just let's try
They
this
can't
once
say the
more.
word
Hold
ether.
on. To
What
be
does it matter?
hold on. So air is a medium. We all agree, and there are properties that you can measure of the air. Do we all agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Therefore,
Yes.
there would be
Yes.
logically properties of this medium called ether that we could measure. QE, can you rattle off the list of things it would require or potentially could have in order for us to in some way qualify it as having stuff of any description?
Chemical formula or structure, charge, mass, momentum, or spin, or if it's energy, millielectron volts, kcals, or kilojoules.
Well, why can't it have the ability to conduct light?
No, not what can't. No. Does it have charge,
I love how you forget
spin,
Tesla in your
momentum,
energy.
calories? Does it have any of these things?
Energy.
If it's
if I had to
energy,
choose anything, I'd say it's classified energy. It's not a medium. Thanks.
kilojoules or calories or any of those things, if it's being declared as energy, I don't care what it's being declared as. Just does it have any of these things?
My conceptualization, yes.
I don't want to know about. Let me just stop, Arwin. No, let's stop. Come away from the
We're all
concepts.
conceptualizing here about what ether
Come
is
on, step
supposed to
away
be.
from the concepts. We're talking about reality, nature of our world. Does it have anything? Charge, spin, kcals. What was the other ones? Joules.
Yes.
Does it have any of these
Kilojoules.
things?
Kilojoules.
Yes,
I
it
love how you
does.
forget
Seems to have,
Tesla. What is
an
added
excess
to
We're in
amount of
three
energy that
people.
cannot be
My
transferred
God,
to
can you get a hold of
energy.
yourselves? One at a time. Does
Nathan,
it have
let me
any of
speak. Let me
them?
answer
What
your
is it?
question. Nathan, let me answer your question. You said, does it have, and then you gave a list. Why can that list not include the ability to pass light through it? Where does the list come from?
It's
The
not
list
a
comes from
You don't need a medium.
Can I ask my
Sorry,
question?
sorry. Why does that list not include the presupposition of the very definition I give for ether? Is that what you're asking?
I'm just asking, why is the property of allowing light to pass through it not considered to be in the list of criteria that you demand?
Yeah, and I'm
for-
saying, why are you asking
they're
if
just
your
arbitrary
very
things that you do.
specific
No
definition...
medium.
Hello, shut up! Why are you asking if your very specific definition of ether can't be one of the things on the list?
Well, why are you demanding that only things on your list are things?
Because they're real things that we can measure and qualify specifically as.
the
Therefore,
induction of light is not a real
giving it properties that we can measure to check if it's actually there or real.
Yeah, but
Induction
light
of
can
light.
be like induced kind of inducted light, right?
What?
What's the mechanism? What's the process where light traverses from A to B called?
Right, what does this have to do with ether? Why am I being asked questions?
That attribute of movement can be described with one word, whatever that word is. Why can't that be in your list?
Don't care. Ask the list again. I just want any.
I'm asking where does the citation for the list come from?
Why am I being asked for citations? I'm not trying to qualify anything, and I'm being asked for citations. Look, QE, please give them the list again, and we'll see if yet again we don't get anything off the list.
Okay, things in nature that are physical, that are real, have either chemical formula or structure, charge, mass, momentum, spin, or if they are energy, milli-electron volts, kcals, or kilojoules. Thanks.
Or Teslas. Don't forget Teslas.
Whatever, I don't care. Can you give us any of those things?
These are just randomly picked units. You can't just pick a randomly.
So we're being told that we're not allowed to do something.
Another part of the conversation, Anon.
Yeah, Anon, don't tell us what we can't qualify things that are actually real with because you've got something you can't qualify it with. That seems very unreasonable.
Right, light is energy, is it not?
What about ether?
But answer my question with a yes/no. Is light energy?
Sorry, I'm not trying to prove light's existence. You're trying to prove the existence of ether.
Can you just answer my question, Nathan? Don't do an anon. Answer my question. Is light energy, yes or no?
What does this have to do with you proving ether?
Because if light is able to traverse from A to B, then it must have the ability to conduct that ability for light to traverse.
And light does have the ability in that context to traverse, therefore ether. So essentially, you've formulated a fallacy.
Yeah.
What I'm asking is, if light is energy and light can traverse from A to B, the passage of energy from A to B must be a physical property of something. Otherwise, the light wouldn't traverse, right?
Matter.
Yeah, of the light.
Matter. Matter is the medium. Okay.
So in a vacuum chamber, you sucked out all the matter, quote unquote.
You can't get all
No vacuum chamber. We're talking about natural world here, not a vacuum chamber.
Okay, so your slit detectors are useless and your double slits all useless.
Don't need a slit detector. I told you that before, you fucking knucklehead. All you need to know is the path.
None of those things are natural.
Anon, you're a broken record. Stay on one subject.
Yeah, you tell him I'm the broken record. That guy's talking about kilojoules.
Yeah, we want to know what ether is.
Yeah.
Ether, what
Still not
is
getting
it?
any of the things we've asked for. Just
What
a lot of
is
obfuscation.
ether?
The medium at which light traverses through.
Does it have any properties that we can quantify it as being physical or actual? The list has been given twice.
Energy. It allows energy to pass through.
Energy. So it's got kcals, it's got joules.
It's conductive
millivolts?
to energy. That is a property.
What's it got? Just give us one of those things. Has it got millivolts? What's it got?
It's conductive to electricity or to energy. It's conductive to energy.
Excellent. Can you show me that?
Yeah, the fact that you see stars.
What?
Dude, forget stars. Put a flashlight in a vacuum chamber.
Tony.
Put it. Get
Tony,
a
where am
vacuum
I
chamber
seeing?
from Amazon.
Tony,
Suck the air out.
Tony.
Put a flashlight in there.
Tony, where am I seeing those stars from?
Where are you seeing those stars?
How far are those
You
stars
don't
away
know
from
what
me?
causes them. Why are you attributing
Why
this?
am I being
to
rumpist? Tony, why am I seeing stars and how far are they?
I don't know why the distance to
you're
stars
using
is
the wrong
important
thing.
at this point.
Well, it's
The
very
fact is, we see
important.
starlight, and that
No, it's
starlight,
very-
whether it's close or far, is for energy,
Forget
the light
starlight.
to get
Just use a
to you.
flashlight.
Oh, when
Anon,
I
can
mean,
you ever
Anon,
shut up?
Anon, can you stop interrupting them?
I don't see the
talking to
problem
Anthony.
with starlight being expressed as energy, and that energy being conducted through that medium because it's conductive. I don't see a problem with that being considered a property of the medium.
Is there medium and outer space?
Conduction. Wait a second. He said conduction. What is conduction?
That's why I asked what the name was to describe the transfer of energy from A to B. Maybe it's inductive.
That's why
maybe
you
it's
asked, what is
conductive, I don't know the
conduction?
word, but that is a property of something, isn't it? The fact that it allows energy
What
to pass through
is
it.
conduction?
Matter.
That's why I asked for the word. I may have used the wrong word, but it doesn't change the point I'm asking and making.
What is conduction?
The fact
then?
that it allows energy to pass through it means it's allowing the energy to pass through.
Yeah,
That is an attribute.
Up a medium out of
Owen,
nowhere
hold on.
where there's no needed.
So what's
Light
conduction?
passes through
There's
matter.
a question on the
That
table
means
that's just being rumpused
conjuring
away
the
from by
amount of
two
light.
different
Put
people.
it this way: if it doesn't allow
No,
energy to pass through
hello.
it, that would
Why
be an
are
insulator.
you now
and that would be
doing
a
this?
property.
Why are you now repeating yourself like a stuck record rather than answering his question?
Who?
He's asked you what is conduction.
And I said I may have used the wrong describing word. That's why I asked it in the first place, and I didn't get an answer. That doesn't change the fact that it's allowing energy to pass through it. By way of contrast, if it didn't allow energy to pass through it, it would be described as an insulator. But it does allow energy to pass through it. So that is an attribute of something.
Oh, yeah. And you know what that something is?
Please, Arwin.
It's an attribute of matter.
Arwin, thank you. The question was, what is conduction? And I got a lot of word salad that didn't answer that question, Anthony.
It did answer for the third time. I'll say it again just for you, Nathan. I might have used the wrong word to describe the passage of energy from A to B, but it does not change my point that energy is passing from A to B. Do you now understand that, Nathan? Yes or no? I'll do it again if you don't.
Yeah, we understand it, and we're back to the same point again.
Great, so
let
let the record show that I did answer your question 3 times, but Nathan didn't understand it.
From the conduction. Let's get away from the conduction if you use the wrong word, no problem. So I turn on a light. I'm going to turn on the light in my room, and my room has air in it. So the light goes from my light bulb, it's hitting my computer desk. Therefore, ether.
So the air in your room is allowing the energy from the light, because light is energy, to pass through it, in contrast to insulating from that energy and stopping the light to pass through it. That is an attribute. It is physical.
Yeah, it's an attribute.
Yeah, it's called air. Gas.
Right. So why can it not be the case that the definition of ether is sufficient, that it allows light to pass through it? That is an attribute.
Because you're conjuring up a medium where there is none needed. That's why.
But in contrast, if it didn't allow light to pass through it, it would be an insulator, wouldn't it?
Are you asking me a presuppositional question now?
You're asking me to define the ether.
What I said.
You're asking me to define the ether, and I don't have a problem with energy passing through something for it to be an attribute of physicality, because that is conductivity. It allows energy to pass through.
Tony, you said from A to B.
You use conduction again.
So what's conduction?
Anthony.
Hold on, 10th man. So conduct through it. So
Okay, I'll accept that I might not have used the correct descriptive word, but it doesn't change my point.
Fine, Anthony, you said light comes from A to B. Where's A and where's B?
A would be the bulb in the middle of the room or the star or whatever it is that you're looking at, and B would be your eye.
So in a closed system, where's A and B?
Who cares? The light's coming from somewhere.
No, because we have a gradient, remember?
No, we see something. We see something twinkling in the sky, right? And
calm down.
Listen, when you go above, when that beeping, well, listen, when you go above the beeping and the beeping stopped, but then resumed when he got back low again, you still see the starlights.
If there was an ether, the beeping wouldn't have stopped.
That's not light. That's sound.
You didn't listen to what I said. Listen, you didn't listen to what I said. When the balloon goes beyond a certain height and the sound stops, we still see twinkling things in the sky. We see things like the sun, the moon. Right. So what I'm saying
how
is,
does that prove ether?
Try and let him finish.
Because if you accept that there needs to be passage of energy from that light source, whatever it might be, wherever it is and how far away it is, doesn't matter. There is something that's giving light off, and you are receiving that information, right? That energy. That conductivity might not be the right word, but the passage from A to B is still being allowed rather than restricted. That is an attribute.
Right, but you're already presuming a light source. You're already presuming a light source in all of this setup.
Yeah, we see a light source, Arwin.
No, you see light. You see a light. You don't know the source.
Arwin,
So how can you have light but with no light?
You don't know the distance yet.
Look, you're going to get interrupted constantly. Hello. Unless you let 10th man go.
Down, man.
Just let 10th man make his point.
Yeah, come on.
Well, yeah, as long as Arwin could start eating, I might have a chance.
Arwin, stick yourself up. Use that magic button that you don't use. Just let 10th
leave
man
Arwin
finish.
alone. Just 10th man go ahead.
All right. QE said if he turns on the light in his room and it goes from dark to light and it shines on his computer, what did you say to that?
energy was passing from the light to the whatever it is, the eyeball or to the computer.
Okay. Now, is this room a closed system?
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're in a closed system because you can't have air pressure without a container. And we have the luminaries within the system. And we know there's a gradient. And we know that gas pressure is at the ground level and it goes up and it's thinner and thinner as it goes up. So now, why do you need an ether in a closed system when you didn't need it in his room?
Because we do see lights up there in some way, right?
But we see lights. But we're in a closed system. That's why we see lights.
Yeah, but what happens if the closed system is in the top of an air bubble at the top of a spirit level, and we're looking into the air bubble saying there's nothing there, but there is actually something there because it's the bubble in a spirit level?
That's a lot of
what are you talking about?
That's a lot of what ifs.
Riley,
yeah, but what I'm saying is, it still doesn't make any sense.
Wait. Can I ask you a question?
No.
The only reason people
no,
talk...
Chocolate. Hold on. Arwin's still got a point that he was halfway through. Then you can go. Go ahead, Arwin.
Now you wanted to speak and he doesn't.
He does this every time. Every time.
Right, go on, Chocolate. Ask your question.
All right. So the only reason that you're talking about ether, right, is in replacement of another medium, right? Because you don't need the ether if you don't have a vacuum, right? Can't have a vacuum.
Well, the only reason we're talking about ether, I don't even know how we got onto this, but I just
because you're saying you need a medium, but don't we exist in a medium right now?
Yeah.
Right. So we can't have gas pressure without a container, right? So the medium that we exist in is in our existence. So why do we need another medium to do what this medium can't do?
Because this is where you shoot Anon down, and I'm not sure I disagree with Anon. When he says that the sound waves stop propagating through the medium, I know John said it's a non sequitur, but the fact is it does stop propagating once you go beyond a certain elevation. And then when you come back down again, it resumes again. So it didn't go flat batteries. That makes me think that sound needs a medium to traverse through. So why is it a non sequitur, which sound is part of the light spectrum, isn't it? They're similar.
No.
Why is it that...
No, that's where you're wrong.
Yeah, no, it isn't.
That's where you're wrong. Sound is not light.
Part of the electromagnetic frequency of light, then, no?
No. The thing that's reaching you isn't the particles from your speaker cone. The speaker cone moves and moves the air. And that air moves the air in front of it, which moves the air in front of it, which moves the air in front of it, which reaches your ears. That's not the same as light.
Yeah.
I've said it loads of times. You're just convoluting the two.
Maybe I am convoluting them, but if they're not, if you can't use them interchangeably because they're the similar thing, what makes them different then?
One, I've just explained.
No, you told me what waves do, what sound waves do, what does light do that sound waves don't?
One requires a medium. Oh my god! Of course, he was asking you, Anon. My bad. You were asking Thicko Anon, weren't you? Anthony.
No, I was asking Nathan.
So one requires a medium because it's going to propagate through the medium, i.e., I shake my cone on the speaker and it moves the air in front of it. The medium is required.
So why is it a statement that? Why is it considered a statement of fact that light does not need a medium?
Because the particles just travel through whatever and reach whatever. That's demonstrated by Anon's pointing out that you don't need a medium. You can remove the medium.
How do they speed back up? How do they speed back up when they go through different
Why is Anon
mediums?
talking? Why are you talking? Why are you talking? Why are you asking somebody in the middle of making a point, a random question? Shut up!
It's not random. It's very
Shut up!
related.
We're not addressing you, you stupid dick. What part of that don't you get?
Anon, shut up.
Wait, how would that even be relative, bro? They're still propagating. Doesn't matter what speed they're going through. We're talking about whether or not they propagate, not how fast they propagate through.
Yeah, but hang on. Let's go. Forget Anon. Anon, be quiet. Nathan said that the light is traveling through whatever. Well, it's that whatever that is perceived to need to exist for light to propagate through it.
Yeah.
Right. If I've got a bullet and I fire it through a vacuum, it doesn't need any air to travel through it. Whereas if I waft a bit of smoke, then my wafting could create an air sound wave, which could be visible through the smoke. But the medium is being moved as opposed to the bullet actually traversing from A to B. Now, I've used that analogy and I've cringed as I've said it, because light technically doesn't do that. The in-between bit is a bit convoluted, but that aside, it's a good analogy.
How does the bullet speed back up when it goes through a different medium?
It doesn't speed. What do you mean speed back up? You're talking about when it
So
goes...
It does.
light-
no. He makes a good
when light
point,
goes through a
actually.
vacuum, is that
Light travels at the speed of light. Sound
It's called
travels through all
friction.
substances. Light doesn't travel through all substances.
so? Light is always at a fixed speed and it never changes depending on the
Sound
medium, like
travels
water,
through
right?
all substances. It is a medium that's moving. Light is not a medium, and it cannot pass through certain substances.
Right.
That's
No,
a big
let's say
difference
you
between the
shine
two.
a light through a
So
aquarium.
hang on. So light
Does
is
the
energy.
light speed up or slow down?
Yeah, light, go on, Anthony.
So light is energy, and light does pass through, conduct, or whatever the key word is, that whatever the word that I get wrong, it does pass through that thing. Why can that thing not be a something rather than a nothing?
You've just said the opposite of what Kiwi's just said. What Kiwi just pointed out was, using my analogy, if I've got a bullet and I fire it at a wall, the wall stops the bullet. If I've got a sound wave, the sound wave can vibrate the wall, which can vibrate the air on the other side of it. Nothing has physically traversed the wall, it's merely vibrated it. Because the medium is the specific thing that's transferring the energy from, in my case, a speaker cone, through the air, through a wall, through the air, to your ear. But there's no bullet travelling through the wall, which would be more analogous to the light.
Okay, so
again, how does the light change its speed when it goes through different mediums?
Plus, where
Somebody
is
shut
nothing?
him up.
Photons have engines.
Jeez, oh
They can
man,
speed back up?
what a knucklehead!
can I just state my position?
Stop.
I don't care whether ether exists or not. I'm just curious as to why it's so contentious, and I'm just not playing devil's advocate. I'm just playing the I don't know card because I'm interested in why it's so contentious.
I covered that as well with the unicorns. Hold on.
Ether
I covered that with unicorns,
that have
didn't
nothing
I?
to do with one another. That's why.
Arwin's going to make his point. Go ahead, Arwin.
Yeah, the problem with ether is there are so many different concepts that all use the word ether, even though they don't really have a lot to do with one another, and everybody's messing that all up.
Right.
And one of the ether conceptualizations is presuming that light is a wave, and that's just unnecessary medium to create in the first place. There's other concepts of ether. There's the ether that
that's lovely. Thank you,
hold,
Ant.
and that is
Thank you, Arwin. That's lovely.
Very short, very short. There's the ether that is presumed to be the excess energy in the air. So it's simply electrical. And you can tap into that and all kinds of things. That's the ether that I talk about when I mention ether.
Very
Concerning
good.
mechanics.
So I covered your whether or not it's important with unicorns. Totally not contentious whether or not they're around. But then we've got ether unicorns that are going to carry the light now. Why? Well, because I've used them in a definition.
Yeah, but the passage of light isn't contentious, is it? Light does get from A to B.
Yeah, on ether unicorns.
Or even if ether unicorns don't exist, it still gets from A to B, and it doesn't matter whether it's carried or not.
No, they're being carried on ether unicorns. Do you not?
Okay.
Does it, Anthony? Does it matter? Is it contentious that they're being carried by ether unicorns? Is this really contentious? They're carried by ether unicorns.
No, I don't see why it makes any difference whether it gets carried by unicorns or not get carried by unicorns. The fact
Therefore,
is it's it doesn't have any consequence.
So it's not contentious then. So therefore, ether unicorns. Not contentious, therefore, ether unicorns perfectly acceptable by everyone. Cool?
But does it matter? But again, does it matter if ether exists or not?
Ether unicorns.
Anthony, your first point was that the sound could not be heard at a certain level in the sky, correct?
Correct.
Is there a gradient and less air up there than down here?
I believe so.
So then if you need air to hear sound and it gets less up there, then you won't hear it, will you? Why does that prove ether?
Because the way I see it, sound traverses through a medium for you to hear it. If you remove
Right,
the
I
air,
just said that. I just said you said it was air, and if there's
I know,
less
but
air there,
respectfully, you have interrupted me before I finished. If sound needs the medium to propagate through, and then you remove the medium and you can't hear the beeping anymore, why is it a non sequitur that light also needs a medium to propagate through?
Because
who
it
says
doesn't
you remove
propagate
the
through
medium?
it.
There's just less of it.
Because it doesn't. Does light go through
Okay.
walls? No. Does sound go through
and
walls?
waves.
Yeah. I'm being interrupted. Is it a non? Let me guess. Yeah, it is.
No,
So, I hadn't got to make my point. I hadn't got to make my point. Does light go through walls? A medium.
No.
Does sound go through walls? A medium.
Yes.
So they don't behave the same then?
Correct.
So one needs a medium. That would be sound. It's a non again, of course. I'm making my conclusion. So, of course, a non's got to fucking talk. Shut up!
What if you have a glass door?
Shut up, you stupid moron!
I'm a stupid moron because
Yeah,
I'm pointing
so
out it goes
light.
through glass.
Shut this fucktard up.
He has got a point, Nathan. Light does go through glass
I haven't
walls.
made my point. I'm trying to get to the fucking conclusion.
Go on.
So, light doesn't need the medium of wall to traverse through, but sound does need the medium, in this instance, an example of a wall, a medium, to travel through. Ergo, they are not the same. One requires a medium and the other does not.
Incorrect. That last bit's not right. To say that sound requires a medium is correct. But to say that because there's a wall stopping the light getting through it doesn't mean that it doesn't require a medium. It just means that it's being insulated from the light passing through it.
Glass wall will just fine.
Yeah, Anon is actually right. A glass wall will propagate light through it.
I know it sucks.
With that, I will say if you're watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on the Nathan Oakley channel, then this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who shared, subscribed, hit the super chat and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley 1980 stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Paid attention.
Said
If you really think light is a wave,
I went
according to the
hard-
double slit, then
Oh,
there's a way
gosh.
to prove that to yourself. So do it. You got what you need. Go
Paul
ahead.
has been patiently waiting for about 40 minutes. Go, Paul.
Yeah, let Paul ask his question.
Okay.
It's 10th man.
Okay. I got a question. If a wave should always act like a wave, right, at all times, would you agree?
Who?
Anybody on the panel, especially at
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Next question: is laser a light?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a
Is
coherent
there any? Is there any scenario where light stops acting like a wave?
Stops acting.
It
Like,
never
doesn't act
acts
like
like
a
a
wave. But it doesn't act like a wave ever.
It always acts like a wave.
When does it act like a wave, for your example, to make sense, Paul? Does it stop acting like a wave? When did it start?
Hang on. If it doesn't act like a wave, then the wave function can't collapse.
Right. That's my point.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. We got a problem.
Function is not a wave.
We're talking. Oh, hold on a second. When you say wave, do you mean physical wave?
Yeah, they do.
Yes, I'm saying physical, but I'm also transitioning to the quantum eraser experiment, not the one specific where there's no detectors. It's just the knowledge of the which path causes the wave function to collapse. So light will start acting just purely like a particle in that experiment, not like a so-called wave. So if that shows that it's a particle, not a wave.
It's not
correct?
an experiment.
Sorry, the delayed choice
not an
quantum eraser.
experiment.
The delayed choice quantum eraser experiment is an experiment.
Oh, what's the observed natural phenomenon?
Here we go.
Refraction.
Wave function collapse.
No, diffraction.
My bad.
Yeah, there you go.
Diffraction.
Get your thing right. Get your nonsense right.
Diffraction, yeah. The same thing we've told you for the past 18 months, right? At length.
So yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, back to the convolution, which is what Paul understands the point he's making, which he's describing this in a context that has light as a physical wave, even though the only thing that's describing it such is mathematical probability distribution. That's what is a wave function mathematically speaking. The fact that it has the word wave in it is irrelevant of what it physically does.
Right. If it collapses into it going through, like looks like it's going through two slits, and there's no wave, so to speak, there, that means light is a particle.
Yeah, I tried that.
Yeah.
I think the disconnect, Paul, is that it's always a particle, even if it's in the wave function pattern. When it collapses,
I agree.
You know,
so, but this is what people don't get. They think it goes from wave to particle when in the wave function, as is described mathematically, it's still a particle. It's always a particle. It never changed from being a particle.
Yeah, you got it, because they're you got it. They're mixing up the collective pattern with the individual quanta that are making the pattern.
Right, Chocolate summarized this beautifully earlier, if he's around.
There's
when
another way
they
to
send
solve
the
this issue.
Arwen, you're not Chocolate. Stop for a second. When they send the particles one by one, they still form the diffraction pattern.
Because
But
they're
they
still
were
little
sent.
wave packets.
New anonymous.
Yeah, but they sent them as particles.
Do they now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about
that's the experiment.
Can I make a point?
Wait a minute, Erwin. But the quantum eraser experiment, there's one detector. When the particles hit the detector, it is two slits, not the diffraction pattern. What causes that? Why is that becoming just two slits instead of a diffraction?
But there are no slit detectors in the quantum eraser experiment.
Exactly. So there's nothing interfering with the particles.
Exactly.
So there's nothing interfering. So it is just purely detecting where the particles are going and where they're colliding.
All they did was, they erased the ability to know which way the particles went.
So if light is a wave,
That's it.
So if light is a wave, as Anand says, then that experiment should never occur, because if laser light is a light, then that experiment, you should never get that collapse of the wave function. Never. So
Exactly.
That's my point.
Yep.
But Chocolate's point was to say that
Pure
if you fire
wizardry.
individual quanta one at a time, it goes through the double slit and you see one hit. Now let's say, for the sake of argument, that you've got 5 points on your diffraction pattern. 0.1 on the left, 0.5 on the right. You fire one particle and you get one hit at 0.3. Then you fire another single particle and you get one hit at 0.1. Then you fire a third particle and get one hit at 0.3. Then you fire another particle and get one hit at 0.5. Now at this point, with however many, 4 or 5 being fired, you can't make up a wave function. The probability distribution isn't complete enough. So you fire a couple more, you get a couple of hits at 0.2. You fire a couple more, you get another hit at 0.3. You fire one more and you get a hit at 0.4, and so on and so forth. After, 50, you can then formulate the mathematical probability distribution. That is the distribution and likelihood of it hitting 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, or 0.5. There is a likelihood of which point it will hit when fired. That likelihood is the probability, and the distribution of that probability is what is mathematically described as a wave function. but each and every single hit was an individual hit of one quanta, singular, small, tiny particle that hit. Now, up until you have a distribution of these hits, you can't qualify it mathematically as a wave function, because you've just got particles hitting 1 point if you only fire 1, or 2 points if you only fire 2, and you can't create the probability distribution, otherwise known as wave function, until you've got more hits of the particles.
And you can't get the wavelength either.
Have you done this?
Yeah, you can't derive the wavelength. Exactly. The wavelength. Where the hell do you think that was derived from?
I'm asking, have you done this? Have you shot a single...
We're asking, where'd you get the wavelength?
No, he's going to use the same shit defense he's used a dozen times, which is now to question the argon pump laser. I haven't got a laser that can fire a single... Yeah, we heard that on this show. And we heard it 6 months ago. And we heard it 12 months ago. Your rhetoric doesn't change.
Same as yours. Your rhetoric doesn't change either.
So you literally did use the defense, I haven't got an argon pump laser.
Tell me about Cavendish balls, left and right.
Yeah, and that's the other segue to it. This isn't an experiment, because Cavendish isn't an experiment. Yet we know the defense to every single crap argument you put up.
I'm just pointing out your double standard.
Well, it's not double standard. If I ask somebody who claims Cavendish for their viable hypothesis, they don't have one. There is, however, a viable hypothesis for the delayed choice quantum eraser.
And no observed natural phenomena, only what's conjured up within your apparatus.
Yeah, the thing you're claiming proves the light's a wave, yeah, that's a natural phenomena.
Light? What?
Yeah, light diffracts naturally. Yeah. That's natural, you fuckwit. We've told you about 20 times. It's absolutely unequivocally occurring in nature daily.
Oh, little balls on my wall?
Oh, we're back to the straw man of Cavendish, are you? Shit for brains. Yeah, diffraction of light happens daily. It's definitely natural.
Yeah, it's a wave pattern. I told you I do that.
Yeah, so the very thing you're using to prove that light's a wave is the fucking natural phenomena.
There is no single...
Yeah, so we've got a natural phenomena, you stupid shithead. So your defense falls on its arse and you go to a multitude of straw men.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Anon, the
straw
photon
man.
is not the natural phenomena.
What you're talking about is complete wizardry.
Hey, Anon.
Not wizardry, diffraction. Diffraction happens in nature. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. You claim there's no natural phenomena to juxtapose Cavendish as a non-experiment when comparing it with the delayed choice quantum eraser. It does have natural phenomena being studied. Unlike Cavendish.
On my kitchen wall. It happens on my
The
kitchen
natural
wall.
phenomena.
Yeah, you keep now telling me it happens on your kitchen wall. Yet we know there's a natural phenomena. Your argument is that there isn't one, therefore, like Cavendish, this isn't an experiment. But you're going to babble on about your proof because I've pointed out that the very natural phenomena you're denying, apparently, occurs on your kitchen wall.
Yes, but not with single...
Yes, so it's not like Cavendish then, you stupid moron. Do you get it? Your juxtaposition with Cavendish is flawed because Cavendish doesn't have a natural phenomena.
Now he's questioning whether diffraction is natural, and he's talking about diffraction.
Yeah.
He doesn't even realize it.
I know.
The diffraction pattern happens on my wall, but that's...
So it's a phenomena then. So we have definitely not got your valid argument about this not being a phenomena in the delayed choice quantum eraser, making it comparable to Cavendish. That argument is now void.
Yeah, it's worse than Cavendish, actually.
Oh, so you're going to just recycle it immediately when it's been declared void? And why? Immediately recycle it, you complete ass clown.
I'm out of here, man. This is...
Yeah, it's just an asshole.
Wasting my time. Nobody's listening to me. I'm actually trying to add to the conversation.
Go ahead,
You're just
Darwin.
all yelling.
Yeah, it's because bloody Anon's here and he won't shut up. Go ahead, Darwin.
Yeah, look, it's like I lost my point 5 minutes ago. It's just People keep telling me to shut up. Never stops the bickering. I don't know.
Shut up, Arwen!
Can everyone stop telling Arwen to shut up? It is a bit unreasonable, me included. I'm sorry, Arwen.
Yes, I'll stop. I won't tell him to shut up
My original
anymore.
point, if I may, just not gonna take long, okay? Look, every time we call this thing the wave function, you're pointing at the apparent wave in it. You could also just call it the the distribution pattern, or what is the other word I had?
Probability distribution.
The interference pattern.
Yeah,
because that is basically what it is. It is all, yeah, it's basically going in one direction, but it's not, the whole light is not just curving around in wavy patterns. No, it is just bended off because of diffraction, and it just happens to separate in this kind of pattern. It's a mysterious phenomenon. It is like that, but it has nothing to do with a wave. There's just empty spaces in between it. And even if something were in between that, not too close proximity to the light, then it wouldn't even influence it probably, because it's not the light particles or whatever you're going to conceptualize them are not waving around. They're not totally looping in like, yeah, in waves. No, they just change their direction at the diffraction point where the diffraction sets in, and then they distribute in this, in this scattered pattern. And that, you could mathematically then extrapolate from that it seems kind of like a wave, but it's just an apparent correlation. It has no actual causal reason to believe that light is a wave. So if you just don't call it a wave function and use the other designations, you kind of can get that misunderstanding out of the way. So thank you.
Yeah, diffraction,
and with
interference.
That.
Yeah, no, not at all. No, he's right. You know, interference, diffraction, same difference, same thing.
Right. But if you call it a wave function, then you bring the word wave into it every time.
Yeah, you can equally
that's
use
the problem, I think.
Instead of wave function, you can use probability distribution
or interference pattern.
Yeah.
Can we say that light is neither particle or wave?
No.
Why not?
Like I said before, this whole problem could have been resolved around 1925 when Heisenberg came up with matrix mechanics, but no one knew how to do, well, I wouldn't say nobody, but very few people knew matrix algebra. And just about that time, Schrodinger came out with the wave equation. Many people were very familiar with wave mechanics and wave mathematics, so that was adopted, and that's the only reason why. That's simple as that.
Right.
They're both equivalent, by the way, matrix and Schrodinger equation, just to let you know.
So you're saying that, and I'm not trying to put words into your mouth, but I'm just trying to interpret what you're saying. And I've heard you speak on that subject many times before, and I meant to speak to you, but this is as any good occasion as any. So you're saying then the light is a particle.
Light is a particle. They are called photons.
So does that mean it's like a chunk of matter?
Yeah, oh God.
They're not matter. Oh, Arwen's quantum eraser. Go ahead, Arwen.
Okay, if you say so. But yeah, light is not a wave. It could be considered a particle, but as to the exact nature of that particle, that's another matter. But yeah, it could basically be considered as a particle, as long as you're not gonna rest heavily upon the conceptualization that it is indivisible in nature. That it's all fine.
Not a
I'm
particle
sorry.
that you can think of it as one.
Back to QE. I remember you were saying essentially similar to what my thinking is, that in between the light emitter versus the plate it's allegedly hitting, nothing travels. So particle sort of manifests itself on the plate.
Ooh, look at
With the
you.
plate.
Look at you. Yep, there's nothing there between the emitter and that plate. You're correct.
Yeah, I've been dabbling in the subject for a while now, but I do struggle with the concept, especially when people are adamant about calling a light a particle. So if it's not a chunk of matter, which I believe you confirm that if nothing travels, therefore it is not necessarily a sort of proverbial bullet traveling through whatever medium at the speed of light. And therefore, like if we're going to call it home, it's literally a manifestation of some kind of a phenomenon that neither wave or particle, it just, and for the lack of better terminology, like in a simulation, you say, okay, well, light emits here in this direction, therefore, in X many milliseconds or whatever time, shit happens here. Nothing happens in between. It's literally like a computer program.
Yes, but when it does hit that detector, there is a certain amount of energy and momenta on a specific spot. What does that? Particles or waves?
Then following that logic, neither. It's just something tells.
Neither. Well, if I throw a pebble and hit you in the forehead, there is a discrete chunk of energy and momenta that hits your forehead. Is that correct?
Well, that's a false equivalency with all the respect.
How is it? Because how is it a false equivalency when I'm talking about fucking energy and momenta?
Yeah, but
in both.
But didn't we just discuss that the nothing travels?
That's what I just said. When it does reach its destination, there is a discrete chunk of energy and momenta that hits that plate.
Momenta?
Right? Just like I throw a pebble at your head, right? There is a discrete chunk of energy and momenta that hits your head. How's that a false equivalence?
Because
I don't think there is a momenta.
We can observe pebble traveling through space.
Arwen,
right?
can you be quiet?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I may disengage, because if you're getting angry, I can't have a conversation.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to you, Dewey.
I wasn't talking. That was Arwen. I'll tell you what, clown show. Go talk to somebody else. Take your false equivalence with you. It's a train wreck.
It's not a train wreck. You're just not listening.
Yeah, it is a train wreck.
Hold on.
Because there can't be a false equivalence between
hold on.
energy and momenta and energy and fucking momenta.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when you make an example of pebble traveling through whatever.
Yeah.
That's a chunk of matter, right?
Yeah.
Well,
now we're dealing with a chunk of energy.
Well,
chunk of matter, energy
doesn't have momentum.
Are you saying they're the same?
There's no physical impact from light.
I'll tell you what. Let's make it easy. Let's make it real easy for you. You want to refute light as particles? It's no problem. Go down in the bottom of this video in the info box. There's a challenge down there. You're going to see, number 1, you have to refute the photoelectric effect. Number 2, Compton scattering. And number 3, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Until you can do that, we are not discussing anything. Thank you.
Well, I've verbally addressed those factors, so for the most part.
You haven't addressed them
yes,
at
I
all.
have. Yes, I've already gave an entire framework as to what's actually
You haven't given
on.
shit. How do you refute photoelectric?
Everyone, hold on. Hello. Go on then, Arwen. Starting with Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Tell us.
Yeah, well, let's end with that because I'd have to look that up first. But as for the photoelectric effect and all that, I've already given a framework.
That was nice, Owen.
It's so funny that it's not worth actually hearing me out about this. You're already just shoving
You
me
just
out.
laughed, Arwen. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You just said you just said you had a comprehensive refutation of the ones I just gave. And then we said, okay, start with the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. And you said you'd have to look that up.
I've already talked about this so many times. I've been able to explain it very elaborately, and I've addressed the photoelectric effect.
But you forgot all the facts
I think
about it
light
right now.
is and how we measure it and what the consequences are of using matter to actually measure light. So
Tell
I've
us.
addressed this in fine detail. It's a very
it's okay.
refined framework.
Fine.
Okay.
No worries. So in terms of your refutation of the photoelectric effect, tell us about that.
Well, I refute that it is a proof of an indivisible unit being light. It's simply an amount of light being absorbed, coming to a trigger point for the material to react and cause the electricity to have a chain effect from the absorption. But that doesn't prove an indivisible unit. It just proves a minimum trigger point for the material to respond to light.
So if I don't shoot, if I don't hit light on the photoelectric plate, it stays blank. But if I hit light, it does show something. And you
No,
say
that's
that
not what he
doesn't
said.
prove anything?
No.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Let me just
if
clarify.
you don't
Hold on,
hit it,
Arwen.
there's not going to be anything. But if
Hold
you
on.
shoot something
Arwen.
slightly...
So, Arwen, please. So, just to qualify, you're claiming that it's the minimum amount a plate will detect as opposed to a declaration that it's quanta. Is that what you're saying?
Basically, yes. I feel that the original quanta establishment was basically derived from such process, but pretty much arbitrarily set at a certain average point.
Wrong.
Because probably
Wrong.
the
It's not an
detailed
average.
readout probably didn't show that kind of indivisible nature as much as people would like to believe.
Wrong. EK max pummels you of the free electrons.
Free
The
electrons?
kinetic energy maximum of the free electron pummels your entire position right there.
What are you talking about? I don't even know what that means.
I'm talking about the photoelectric effect and the free electrons that are freed when photons hit an exposed plate.
Yeah.
The energy of those electrons can be measured.
Yeah, I bet it can be. Absolutely. But hey,
Yeah,
it's
they
still a
are.
part of the material that's actually perpetuating.
Who gives a shit
this
about the
thing.
material?
So it's always going to be
It will have
dependent
different
on the
levels.
trigger
If
point
light was,
of the
what is the
material in order
photoelectric effect?
do
Exactly. That's why you don't have photoelectric effect on a piece of rock.
Hold on. What is the photoelectric effect, Arwen?
It's a chemical reaction where light, the very
No
basic
chemical reaction is
description,
wrong.
it's light interacting with matter of a certain type that will then cause, an electron or an amount of energy equal to an electron to be released. Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah, an electron, it's not a chemical reaction.
Well, it is atomic, isn't it?
It's not a chemical
because of the
reaction.
atoms, because of the material that are the medium for
It's
it.
not a
hold on,
chemical
hold on, I think I
reaction.
understand that.
Define
I think I
chemical
understand
reaction.
the
Is it a kinetic
Hold
reaction?
on, hold on,
use the
everyone.
word
Hello.
chemical reaction.
Hello. So I think he's confusing the emulsion plate reaction with the photoelectric effect. Am I correct, Arwen? You're talking about the plate with the silver nitrate or whatever it is. Is that what you're confusing with this?
That one or solar panels?
Yeah, there's a confusion in terms of you're mixing two things up that aren't necessarily related.
Biology then, or which one? There's so many types of interactions with material and light.
Yeah, it's not. We're going down the road. It's not a friggin' chemical reaction. Get back. I already destroyed it. So when light is shown on a metal, right? If light was waves, then shining a light of any frequency on that metal, no matter the intensity or brightness, should liberate the free electrons. You understand? There's free electrons in metals. They're in the conduction band.
Okay.
Right? You got that?
Yeah. Carry on.
Okay. Shining any amount of energy should liberate them. If there are waves, they just have to wait long enough and then boom. That does not happen. Therefore, light can't be a wave. And increasing the intensity of those frequencies that do liberate the free electrons does not increase the kinetic energy of the free electrons themselves. They're now called photoelectrons. So one photon is absorbed a discrete amount by one electron. Therefore, light is quantized. Good night. Have a nice day. The prosecution rests.
Yeah, I thank you for making my point. Exactly. Because it is bound by the material interaction. The exact quantas, the exact amount, they've been determined by the inevitable interaction that has to be done with matter in order to cause an effect that we can actually figure out and notice. Yeah, I know.
So
it's bound by
wave then.
matter.
So in other
By
words,
matter is the
sorry, gentlemen. In other
quanta
words,
setter.
this,
So I'm glad he made your
In other
point.
words, light is
Thank
quantized.
Setter.
So
sure,
it's
you can
not.
quantize
So it's
it.
not a
Doesn't
wave
mean you
then.
know the nature of it.
I never claimed it was a wave. Please.
So then,
Never
what is
claimed
the
it was a wave.
problem then?
The problem is the assumption, right, of a particle.
Yeah, but
as if it
you
were
started
matter.
this
That is
with.
the problem.
But you started this with you're trying to refute the photoelectric effect as proving that light is a particle. But you just said it didn't prove it's a wave. So what are we talking about?
I'm disproving the claim that it is proof of a particle.
What?
So then what does it prove then to you?
It proves my point, namely that there is a limitation going on, quanta concerning, because of the material inevitable interaction that is required in order to establish anything. So it's bound by matter.
Such a fucking
Quanta is
word
set by
salad
This is nonsense.
nonsense.
QE
No, it's
just
not
made the
nonsense,
point,
but you can
and
think about it for
said-
the next 2 years and then get back to me about it.
My gosh, Arwen. QE just made a point, and you said, thank you for proving my point, but QE's point was opposite of your point. This is incredibly
That's
crazy.
what I'm saying.
Have fun with that.
I am having fun with it. You just violated the law of non-contradiction. You're crazy.
Yeah, or you went a little.
Arwen is
I
not
made my
crazy.
point
He has a
I'm
plenty.
just.
You can think about it whatever
I
you
get
want.
what
You
you're
made your
saying, but
point.
you were so quick to refute it, though. But you're saying that the point that didn't you hear what 10th Man just said? You just agree with John, and you said John just made your point, but so that means you have the same point,
Nope.
right? No.
No, I
Didn't you
bypassed.
just-
I
you
clarified
didn't
that.
just-
I clarified that. It was kind of a switcheroo, joke-ish trick to kind
No.
of get
Arwen has a
people
different
the old-
interpretation
the
of
old
what
because
has
I
been
explained
said.
it later.
And you guys
God,
not listening
it's
to
like
what he's trying
every
to say.
time I speak, everyone always has
Well,
to
you
put
gotta
other
give us a
matter
calm
disclaimer
down,
in the
man.
ballroom.
Hello,
and it's
hello.
Twitch.
Can Arwen get a couple of minutes just to summarise his point again?
Go ahead, have another couple of minutes, Arwen. Jesus.
I never get a couple minutes.
You don't use the.
You always want
fallacy
your
of the
couple of minutes when
Jokeru
somebody else is
switch.
speaking, though.
I've been on
That's
mute
the
for a while.
For the last couple of minutes, sure, but whenever somebody else decides to speak, you speak over them.
I'm not familiar with the Jokeru switch the point fallacy.
Yeah.
Can you go over that?
I don't know that one either.
Are we done?
It's just
'Cause
something
I wanna-
that I
I
did
wanna
on the
raise some-
spot. I can try to explain it again, but I'm probably going to get interrupted after 30 seconds.
No, don't explain it again. I'll
Okay.
agree
let
with
him.
you on anything. Just don't
Go ahead,
explain it
Arwen.
again.
Go ahead.
Ah!
Right. So what I did is basically say, yes, I agree with that thing. And then I explained exactly why I think it actually doesn't prove light to be a particle. And I just set the entire framework. It made it very, very clear by now. And yeah, so it was kind of a switcheroo as into, yeah, I agree with you, but not with the point you're making. It's just I agree with the setup and I have another explanation for it. Very detailed. That's it.
Not with the point you're making, but then you tell Quantum that he made your point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Okay. That's it. That's fine. That's the conclusion. So, in the Master B, there's a little back and forth going on between Quantum Eraser and Sleeping Warrior, both of which are on the panels. So, QE starts off by posting a picture of some parrots, and he says, "Look at this, ether parrots." Right? Now, just read Anthony's last comment. "I don't see why it matters either way. Gravity does matter if it exists or not. But an ether, c'est la vie." And then QE says, "I love you. Bring it in." And then Big says, "Bring it in?" Question mark. And then QE says, "A hug for you, Big Lug."
Oh.
Oh.
That's nice.
That's wholesome.
I know what ether is. Starting fluid.
Hey, thanks for elucidating that private conversation. Bring it in, you big lug.
Private conversation in Master B with 73 other participants.
And they're all family, right? We're all a big dysfunctional family here, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
The topic.
Very dysfunctional, yeah.
Not you, Anon.
I said let's change the topic. What do you mean not me? What does that even mean?
He was talking about a big dysfunctional family. You're not part of that.
Oh,
Is Sleeping Warrior still here?
I got a real.
He is. Yeah, Highlander, did you want to ask him something?
Nah, he is part of the family, but he has to stay in the shed, pretty much.
The woodshed, permanently.
That was good.
Hold on, I think Highlander's got a question
that's
for
the
Sleeping Warrior.
Cavendish shed, I presume.
Just see if I can get Sleeping Warrior's attention.
No, it just I haven't heard him for a while, so I thought he'd left.
I think he's still here. Probably playing a computer game or something.
What's up, Highlander? You all right?
How's that whiskey?
Well, good to know you're okay.
Yep.
Clearly,
Can we change the
Highlander's gone. Holy shit, am I engaged in a conversation with them? Quick, close the mic, what am I doing?
So who said light doesn't travel through walls?
Hey.
I did making an analogy with a bullet.
It doesn't? I think light does travel through walls.
Glass walls.
Okay.
Prove me wrong.
Got it here.
It does.
Go on, tell us all about it. Debunk me. Feel free.
Tell me one material that light doesn't travel through. One.
Opaque materials.
Still travels through.
Opaque materials, clown show.
Travels through.
Opaque. Look it up.
Still travels through. Light travels through every material.
Light travels through. You're a retard.
You're an idiot. Because you're too stupid to realize.
Not what your sister said.
So tell me one material, opaque material, light still travels through.
Not, no one's gonna get to the bottom of this. I'm not gonna agree with you guys.
We are. It's very simple.
Yeah, we already got to the bottom of it, and you're in the woodshed.
Being a wave out of the way, and you don't need your medium anymore. Done.
Let him make his point. Go ahead. Right. What's your point? So opaque, meaning you can't see through it.
Yeah, so infrared light doesn't travel through opaque. Radio waves, which are light, don't travel through opaque material. No?
X-rays. Could have listed them. Yeah, my analogy was completely flawed.
So infrared light isn't light. Infrared light is something else than light, or what?
No, infrared's light, clever dick.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear of the concept? Did you ever hear of the concept called reflection, Crayon Muncher?
Of course.
Crayon Muncher. What's define reflection?
Amount of light that gets bounced back by a material. So what material?
I don't think he gets it, Kiwi.
White materials have a higher reflection because they bounce a lot of
the higher reflection because I don't know why the cause of it. Does light reflect?
Yes, it does, yes.
Objects reflect light.
Yeah, that means it doesn't go through it. Right?
It does go through it.
Oh, really? So it goes through and reflects.
If you have glass, a part of the light goes through it, and the part gets reflected. So you're too stupid to understand that infrared light is still light and travels through opaque materials.
No, he is right.
Infrared travels through a lot of things. Radio waves are light, travel through things. Certain materials block certain wavelength of light. And
that's true.
Yes. So
but you have reflection, right? Do you have reflection, Crayon Muncher?
Of course.
When something reflects, if light is reflected off something, does it go through it?
The part that is reflected, not.
Yeah, the part.
Light, yes. And the part goes through.
Which part?
The part that went through goes
the part that went through is the part that went through.
Yes.
Wait, what's the question?
Isn't it obvious?
Yeah, dude, use a
There's
fucking
always
glass.
something.
Yeah, it's obvious.
Wait, what's the question?
Thank you.
Not seen a window in your life, dude?
There is no absolute.
So the
perfect
question
perspective.
is,
There's always a part absorbed
what
and a part.
what
reflected.
Huey has never seen a
materials?
glass.
So
Wait, hold on, what?
The analogy was being made because sound would require a medium to go through, unlike light, which doesn't require the medium. So while my analogy is flawed and very clever to pick up on it, you feel free. Yeah, you could use X-rays.
No, I'm just making. Yeah.
But it doesn't change the point of the analogy. One would require the medium.
Oh no, of course. You don't require a medium for light to travel. I just was making fun of Quantum Eraser because he doesn't understand. And
Oh yeah,
actually-
boy, you
hey,
really
but,
made
this
fun
is
of
a good
me,
point,
especially with the
yes.
I got a good
reflection part.
point.
yeah,
That,
so
that was
when-
brilliant.
all
You
right,
must be
all
a
right.
rocket scientist.
All right,
Nathan,
if
I
if
may,
you have a
I've got a good
bottle,
point.
If you have a bottle,
you have a bottle filled with a
if you have a
substance,
bottle of beer on the
and
wall,
a part of the substance
and a
goes
part of
through,
the particle,
and a
goes
part
through.
doesn't go through,
and it
a part
reflects
still
off.
went through, so it
Both
went
the light
through
and
the material.
reflected.
Yes,
didn't-
just repeat in a
wrong.
stupid voice. It's
Yeah.
really, really professional.
Yeah, because you're a retard.
It's not a retard.
No, you're the
he's
retard because you
making
don't
fun of an
understand that
analogy.
Oh, he's a
when
retard.
something went through.
He is a
Something
zombie.
went
I got
through.
guys, please,
Too many
if I may,
people
I got a really
talking.
good point concerning this entire issue.
Yeah, too many people
I may.
talking.
Let's go, Harwin.
Thank you. Okay,
Go
so
on, Oren.
yeah, there is a big difference between sound displacement and light displacement, right? So sound has to have some kind of medium, or it's going to be disintegrated. It's not going to transverse through that medium any longer. But with light, it's exactly the opposite. The less medium there is to transverse through, the less is absorbed. So see,
That's great. Okay,
exactly
from
the opposite.
University
It's
of
exactly
Virginia, opaque objects block light from traveling through them. Most of the light is either reflected by the object or absorbed or converted to thermal energy. Materials such as wood, stone, and metals are opaque to visible light. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
visible light.
Visible
What about
light.
Visible light.
Right,
Oh,
visible
thanks that
light.
everybody appreciated my point.
It's
Yeah,
visible
you're
light
right.
is like a tiny
Yeah.
speck of the whole.
No, that's
light.
what we were talking about, Crayon Muncher.
That
No,
would
you
be
were
the
talking
light that
about
we
light.
see, though, right? That
You have
visible
to
light
be credit.
that
He
we
wants
see.
to
No,
credit.
no,
Let's just
no.
give
We
it
were
him.
talking
Hold
about
on, Kiwi.
visible light with diffraction patterns.
Yeah, that's
You were
correct.
talking about light in general.
Light
just
with
said light.
diffraction patterns.
Yeah, the light that we see, Zinder, not the type that we can't.
Oh, that raises a good question. Hold on. So,
You
hold on, I got a
dumbass.
question. I got a question. Can you get diffraction pattern out of X-rays?
You can get
Over.
diffraction pattern out of every type of light.
That's what I thought.
Let's see him.
I thought you could.
Like when light. Yes, you
let's
can
see
get
it.
that out of gamma rays too.
Let's see it.
Yeah, your question's loaded.
Oh, you want to see gamma rays?
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. His question's loaded.
Well done.
Let's see
Thanks,
it.
Zinder.
Let's see it. Let's see a diffraction pattern in the light that's spectrum that's not visible.
I
No,
think
that's
that
not
if-
going to fly.
If gamma rays would be strong enough that you would see them, you would have a big problem.
Well, not if you're Superman.
Yeah.
That's Zinder's Superman.
But yeah, you've
course,
got
I can
you've
see
got a
every type
point,
of light.
Zinder. You can have your point. Yes, my analogy was malformed when you moved out of the visible spectrum, and I didn't qualify it, so you can have your point. Well done. Kudos.
All right. Great.
So, are we going to see any diffraction patterns we can't see?
No, we're not. No.
Well, has it actually been tested on the non-visible lights? Because you could still detect it.
It was, but they couldn't see anything.
Oh gosh.
Right, is that it? Are all the laughs out of the way? Are we all done? Is everyone burnt out?
No, what's
Not
ether?
Oh my.
What's ether? I think we've covered
Oh
that.
god.
That's
I don't think
This
ether is
is
a
4
medium
more
for
hours.
light to transverse into.
It's the medium that
No, it's
light
not.
transverse.
It's not. I can't believe you keep on repeating that nonsense.
And with that, I'm going to say another massive, huge, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making this after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream audience for hopefully smashing the join button, subscribing, sharing, hitting the super chat, all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!